Namaste and welcome to Urban Chatterati. Today, I'm joined by Kushal Mehra once again to discuss the recent statement issued by Oxford Societies, Oxford India Society, some South Asian Society, and also, curiously, one Oxford Hindu Society, which refuses to condemn anti Hindu remarks of Abhijit Sarkar, which refuses to take a stand on any kind of Hindu baiting or racism against Hindus and Indians, but has huge problem with Rashmi Samant and basically justified the bullying, harassment, name calling of Rashmi Samant. And it also tried to justify all that using Hindutva as a proxy for some evil which they are fighting against. So, Kushal, how do you see this entire development of today?
First of all, thanks for inviting me, Abhinav. Well, as far as I'm concerned, this is uh, how do I put it? This is a turf war. For the last at least good 50 years. This is nothing to do with what's happening in India. This is something to do with the global Hindu discourse, something that you and I have discussed in the past also, both online and offline. There is a certain narrative that Hinduism is a particular kind of entity, and what I like to, as I was telling you today, I like to call them, the narrative around Hinduism or Hindus was always controlled by what I like to call establishment left wing Hindus. So these are not,
That's a new term, Kushal. That's a very unique term. Left-leaning establishment Hindus.
yeah. So these people are, I'll explain whom these people are. These are people who were anointed as the, not, I would not call them thekedars, because they're not the thekedars. The white man is the thekedar ultimately when it comes to Hindu discourse and Hinduism discourse. But these are the anointed pansies of these thekedars who will basically see what happens is at the end of the day, you know how discourse around the world, especially in academia, is. It's about, are you authentic or not? So what white academics were running into the problem was, man, I can't go on talking about Hinduism and sound authentic because eventually I'm white, I'm not brown. So I need to come up with a bunch of brown people who basically are white because they literally spout spew the same stuff, say the same things that the white man says, but because they're brown skinned, by virtue of the color of the skin, I will give authenticity to my scholarship through them. So, as I had explained in a previous discussion about citation loops, now in the citation loop, it is the mothership that creates the citation, and then it finds brown skinned people, one. And then what happens in the gobbledygook that is created in this loop, it eventually becomes the truth because most of the citations are by brown people. So we don't know which is the truth. So for 50 years, these establishment is I'm talking about the these. They are on what is Hinduism, what is Hindutva, what is the natural nature of India, who gets to call what. And Rashmi to me is basically, a kind of a casualty in this entire rigmarole. So Rashmi is not, to be blamed for anything, to be very honest. She just got caught in a turf war, and what has happened now and the consequent letter that has come is, it is the thekedars reasserting their thekedari through this letter.
Hmm. Hmm. But it's very curious that these groups are nowhere to be seen when all those racist comments were made against Rashmi Samant. or when Hindu-phobic comments or anti-Hindu propaganda is peddled in the Western campuses. But suddenly you see this rise of or sprouting of these progressive Hindu unions, uh, you know, what you say, secular Hindu unions, and all those kind of entities. How do you see that? I mean, it's one thing that they are doing Thekedari and they are the proxy of the Thekedars, but what's more there? Why they are finding this bunch of people and the students especially who are joining in these kind of Hindu groups whose only purpose is to celebrate Holi against Hinduism and Holi against Hindutva and all those kind of things?
To be very honest, I would not be giving you a definitive answer for England. My experience of living in North America, I studied in Canada. The Hindu Student Council was not like this over there. They would not spew nonsense. I mean, wokeism was not existent there. But even I was talking now to some Hindu students there. Look, there is a very vibrant Hindu Student Council in. Okay, I'll give you an example. In fact, Drishti, who had come on my podcast, she was part of the Hindu Students Council. So I can tell you with a little bit of certainty, these people are the minority, even amongst the Hindu students discourse in UK. If you go and ask an average Hindu in the United Kingdom or the United States of America or in Canada or all these Western universities, they'll be like, what are you guys talking about? I mean, I like Hinduism. I mean, this is in many ways, like I said, you'll always find some woke, brainwashed Hindu who eventually goes and joins. That's why I use the word establishment left-wing Hindus. This is a left-wing clique. Can you tell me one case of a person who's either right-wing or non-left who has gone and sat in any of these councils and spewed these thoughts? Just one. It will not happen. The average Hindu is not doing this. This is like a little cabal. They just sit together and I was going through that letter. Oh my God, the heavy words they have used. I mean, the kind of language they use, and it's always this, See, and there is another speciality of these people. They use a lot of ad hominem. It is a total character assassination of Rashmi, by the way, which is appalling. I mean, what nonsense. They are assassinating that poor lady's character. Second, they peddle a lot of what I always say, pseudo-profundity. So what is pseudo-profundity? Pseudo-profundity is things where you use very nice English. It sounds very nice. अरे भाई इतने भारी इंग्लिश में बोल रहा है, कुछ तो अक्लमंदी की बात कर रहा होगा, मगर अगर आप उसको थोड़ा पील करोगे ना, it means nothing. That's what wokeism is, right?
Exactly.
These are woke people writing very nice English paragraphs, but when you read them, it's like I come off every time thinking, yeah, what are they trying to say? Like I get the second page and the third page where they are doing character assassination of Rashmi. That I get. But the first page where they're building their case, what was their case? I mean, I don't know. Either I'm too dumb, which I don't think I am. But the point is that there is a violent and very vocal minority within the Hindu discourse that has a stranglehold. Now, the stranglehold gives them, see, they have disproportionately more, what word do I use? Power in terms of how many words they get out. How much of, so there is an asymmetry in the representation. They are very small in number, but they are asymmetrically very high in terms of how much footage they get. Now, in such a scenario, it seems as if, अरे बाप रे, गली गली कूचे कूचे में वो हिंदू घूम रहा है और बोल रहा है ये सब. Reality कुछ और है. You can do a survey of Hindus in UK and you'll be like, okay, who are these people? And I'm sure उनके parents भी उनसे डरते होंगे, बाप रे बोलना शुरू कर देगा, ये मेरा बेटा नहीं है. Kind of a scenario.
But you are right that letter, the sole purpose was the character assassination of Rashmi Samant. And I was talking to Pandit Satish Sharma ji just some time back. I've also uploaded the podcast with him. And he was actually saying that they're exploring legal options against these societies and the people who have written that letter, because it's a clear-cut case of defamation against a person who is in hospital, who has been tortured, mentally harassed, who has been bullied, and has to resign. And in fact, not just resign, but had to leave Oxford because they made the campus so unsafe for her. So it's a clear case of hounding, bullying. It's a clear case of defamation. So I think something will happen because a line has to be drawn.
Oh, I could not agree more with you, Abhinav. And this has been the flaw in the Hindu movement. We don't use defamation and legal recourse. In fact, I am reminded of, one guy, I have to give it to you, who uses the courts very well, is this guy, James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. I have seen that he's never lost a defamation case. They always file defamation on him and he comes out on the winning side is because he's factually correct. Now, in the case of Rashmi, they dig up old tweets and then they dox her, which was literally what happened with her. They doxed her. I mean, this is a clear case of defamation. And in fact, this is the opportunity to teach all these people who take Hindus as cannon fodder, to let them know, boss, this is not done. You cannot do this to Hindus. Till the point, Abhinav, that I've come to, somebody asked me a question, but why? And every time, I had mentioned this on your podcast before, this is clear anti-paganism in the mindset of these people. And, in their mind, the only good pagan is a dead pagan. So they will romanticize the European pagans who are barely alive. सबको मार दिया इन्होंने इंटेलेक्चुअली और फिजिकली, तो अभी उनको रोमांटिसाइज करते हैं. द रियलिटी में देयर इज ओनली वन लिविंग ब्रीदिंग पॉलीथियस्टिक पैनथीइस्टिक, जो बुलाना है उसको बुला लो, civilization, that is India. They hate it. They don't like it. These people now are talking back. How dare you talk back to us? We thought you were supposed to shut up and sit in the corner. And this malaise is that. And again, I'm saying we should not just look at the layer below the thekedars. We have to start questioning these thekedars. Who are these people who are trying to create this narrative that anybody who disagrees with these thekedars is Hindutva? Pehli baat, Hindutva hona galat kya hai? What is wrong in being a Hindutva supporter? What is this? Hindutva is being made some kind of a pejorative, like a racist slur in that society. Can you imagine if somebody in the West now says, I am sympathetic to Hindutva, what kind of hate crimes they will be exposed to? Do these people realize the kind of repercussions they are creating for people who are Hindutva supporters in the West? And there has to be a pushback, and you are 100% right, there has to be defamation.
Yeah, and it's not just about, say, they only use Hindutva to defend their criminality, because you see, because any expression of Hinduism is immediately branded as Hindutva. In America, there are cultural groups like Marathi cultural groups and Gujarati cultural groups who are simply community-based cultural groups. And there was a campaign by these people to brand them as Hindutva organizations who are spreading communalism and all those things. So now Hindus can't even practice their normal culture. They can't even celebrate Garba, because celebration of Garba is this so-called Hindutva gathering in which they are planning genocide and whatnot. So we have to be very clear that when they say Hindutva, they're only trying to hide their hatred for Hinduism and trying to justify it by saying, no, we are not against Hinduism, we are against Hindutva.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And no matter what excuse they give, there is none to be taken. This is a clear-cut idea and ideology that like I said, for them, the only good pagan is a dead pagan. They want a dead pagan so that they can keep that pagan as a museum piece, which they can fetishize. Well, we are not objects of your fetishization, man. We are living, breathing creatures. We have human lady. I mean, what the hell are you doing? And until and unless we push back and say, I mean, I remember, Sunil Gavaskar recently in a series, there was a lot of, I know it's cricket and you hate it, but I'm just using it as an analogy. There was a lot of talk about the pitches in the second, third test match. Okay. So Sunil Gavaskar was asked a question. Sunil Gavaskar ne perfect answer diya. Usne bola, chal put. That's all he said. बोलता है अभी इन लोगों को हमको चल फुट बोलना पड़ेगा. अबे तू कौन है यार? तू मेरे को बताएगा मेरा भगवान कौन है? तू मेरे को बताएगा मेरा रिलीजन क्या है? तू मेरे को बताएगा मेरी सोसाइटी क्या है? तू मेरे को बताएगा हर चीज मेरे बारे में क्या है? अबे तू कौन है रे? भाग इधर से तू. और पहली बात, we should take over the discourse of our gods, goddesses, and it should be honest and it should be rigorous. I'm not saying kuch bhi chala lo, but the point is कि what they are doing, see, they are using this woman as a case to show how bad Hindutva is. No. All they're doing is to showcase how bad they are, how evil they are, and they should be punished.
But Kushal, what about the Oxford University? Because why they are not doing anything? They're so indifferent. In fact, they seem to be supporting it. In the case of Audrey as well, the Rutgers also came out in support of that woman who has been abusing Hindu gods and goddesses publicly, and was basically literally celebrating Hindu genocide by justifying it.
Oh yeah, see, I would like to take this opportunity to say that if you are a Hindu, it doesn't matter if you are a Ishwarwadi Hindu or a Nirishwarwadi Hindu. If you consider yourself to be a part of the Hindu civilization, let me tell you, Aurangzeb is the one hill that I will die on. I will not normalize Aurangzeb.
Yeah.
How dare you normalize Aurangzeb? I
Hmm.
mean, what that woman is trying to do under the garb of scholarship, हर टाइम बोल देगी पीएचडी मैं हूँ देखो ये मार्क है पीएचडी मैं हूँ. It's nonsense. Secondly, what's happening in Oxford right now is what's happening with the global academic Hindu discourse. It is a turf war, Abhinav. It is a turf war, and I want to take this opportunity to also blame Hindus. Hindus did not take it, so somebody was going to do it. And now that somebody has done it, and they are used to doing it for so long, and now they're peddling absolute nonsense, and they're just pulling things out of their ass. And now the Hindus are like, अरे ये थोड़ी ना होता है, अरे बाबा 40-50 साल से सो रहे थे क्या? What were the Hindus doing? When there were, look, imagine karo, Abhinav, I'll give you this example, and it struck me so deeply. This is around 3 years ago, where Ben Shapiro had shared a book he was reading. And when it came to books on India, that even a right-wing conservative commentator like Ben Shapiro goes to Ramachandra Guha. That, opened up my eyes. That everything on India that is considered authentic in the West is all establishment left-wing Hindus. These are Hindus by name. These are not Hindus internally. These are people who have digested anti-pagan Abrahamic identity, and they are spewing a lot of nonsense out of that. I once again want to repeat, I am someone who has many problems with Hindus and Hinduism, but that does not mean I cannot see what's happening in Western academia. Oxford is just a classic case of people who are used to bashing Hinduism. They were not used to a Hindu that spoke back. They were used to a meek Hindu. Now they suddenly see this Hindu that speaks back. And they are rattled, and now they are using the classic strategy, which is character assassination, because that is the best way to not answer any legitimate question.
Well, in fact, that also mirrors how they have been portraying India, because you see, they were used to seeing Hindus getting slaughtered in the last century, because in the last century, I think the Hindus are one of those communities who have suffered the largest genocide. You have been completely wiped out from the northwestern subcontinent, from large part of the eastern subcontinent. It has been wiping out, and now India passes Citizenship Amendment Bill, which simply gives an accelerated citizenship to the persecuted Hindus, and they just can't take it. How dare the Hindus do something or stand up and take a stand for their own life? And this is something which is also mirrored in this case as well, that how dare you stand up and say what Audrey is writing is wrong? Do you see similarity? What is being happening in the academia is a perfect mirror of how they are portraying India and Hindus, this was called Hindu nationalist, Hindu fascist, and whatnot. Just because Hindus are talking back.
Tell me, Abhinav, let alone what's happening in Pakistan, tell me how many academic conferences have been held on the absolute butchery and persecution. They butchered the Kashmiri Pandits. How many academic conferences are being held in Oxford? How many academic conferences are being held in Rutgers, where Audrey Mata stays? Where is that? Because, like I said, and I go on repeating it, the only good Hindu is a dead Hindu. Because it's
how many conferences on daily kidnapping and rape and conversion of Hindu girls in present day Pakistan?
Oh, absolutely nothing.
Complete silence. No one is doing cultural, psychological analysis of Muslims or Islam and like the way they do to the Hindus. No one is doing that.
Yeah, and the reason that is they were not allowed to take the throne of Thekedari, when it came to Islamic discourse, when it
Yes.
came to Chinese discourse, when it came to Japanese discourse, when it came to Jewish discourse, the only thing that they because Hindus messed up, now Hindus have to take back those seats. And the tragedy is Hindus don't even have enough academics to fill the posts. Imagine करो, क्योंकि हिंदुओं ने 7-Eleven खोले, हिंदुओं ने गैस स्टेशन खोले, हिंदुओं ने आईटी के कंपनियां खोली, हिंदुओं ने सोशल साइंस नहीं की ना. तो आप अगर आज कह रहे हो, आप ये समझो ना अभिनव, if you go out and say, how dare you social science people spew things that are completely opposite of my lived reality, they'll be like, okay, where is the person who will come and take the seat? And they'll be like, oh yeah, we don't even have people. God damn, what are we going to do? This is the problem. It's a double whammy. They took it. We never bothered then. Now we are bothering. We still don't want to invest in social sciences. So what do we do even now?
Forget the Western academia. In India also, we have no control over social sciences. Zero control over social sciences. In fact, whether it's the left or the right, no one has control over social sciences, because what we are teaching, what we are doing is simple, either the carbon copy of the Western constructs or simple direct import of the Western constructs in India. You see the syllabus of any social science paper in India, I'm pretty sure majority of it is Western authors.
Yeah, and this is the serious problem, and which is why Abhinav, Oxford does what it does. Rutgers does what it does. Harvard does what it does. Is because there is literally nothing that can be done about what they're trying to. They have the keys to the room that decides and defines Hindus, Hinduism, and Hindu identity. They have the keys to the room. But guess who gave them the keys? The Hindus themselves. And in fact, Hindus ने उनको टीका भी लगाया culturally.
Narayan Murthy, right?
Yeah, उन्होंने उनको टीका लगाया, बोला ये ले टीका, अब जा काम कर अंदर. और वो काम कर रहा है, वो तो अपनी लेंस यूज कर रहा है. बाद में बुक आई, उसने बोला अरे बाप रे तूने तो ये लिख दिया. अरे तो लिखा क्यों? तुमने उसको अलाउ किया. कोई गेट कीपिंग नहीं थी, कोई स्वॉट एनालिसिस नहीं था, थ्रेट्स एंड अपॉर्चुनिटीज नहीं देखी हमने, कोई क्रेडेंशियल चेकिंग नहीं थी कि does this person, imagine करो, आपका पूरा discourse on Hinduism is written by people who have zero skin in the game.
Yes. And they're openly hostile. It's not that they pretend to be neutral. They're openly hostile.
तो मेरे को एक बात बताओ, ऑड्री माता जैसी बंदी क्या इस्लाम में टिक सकती है?
Not a single day.
उसको सर कलम कर देंगे वो लोग. मैं सीधा बोल रहा हूँ, वो सर कलम कर देंगे उसको अकेडमिया में जीना नहीं देंगे.
Don't imply that Hindu should be doing the same.
I'm not saying.
People will blame you for that, you know.
I'm not saying. But the point is that the lady wrote an article today and saying there is no challenge to me, academic challenge. अरे बहन, तेरे को जो academic challenge करता तू उसको या तो block कर देती है. There was an open offer to her that you want to discuss Sanskrit. I think it was Nityananda Mishra who had openly told her, I will debate you in spoken Sanskrit. Hang on. Not in English. I will debate you in spoken Sanskrit. आजा. एक बंदे ने इनवाइट किया था. बहन गई? नहीं गई, क्योंकि उसको मालूम वो तो स्पोकन संस्कृत बोलता है, तो पता नहीं क्या हालत कर देगा. See, I mean, imagine a person walking around saying Aurangzeb is nice.
One thing more. What is there to debate if you are abusing Hindu gods and goddesses? What is the academic debate there? You are calling them pigs and whatnot. You want them to come and say there's no academic challenge? Are we going to debate whether the deity is a pig or not? Sorry. I mean, there's no scope for debate out here, in my opinion.
Yeah, imagine, that's what I'm saying, right? If somebody, imagine a professor in Rutgers making a comment like that on Jesus Christ. Yeah. A professor in Rutgers. This is not a stand-up comic making a joke. So let us delineate two things here. There's a professor in Rutgers making a comment on Jesus Christ and saying, I am scholarly. You think that person will be in the Christianity studies department?
Of course, never.
Or somebody making a comment of Prophet Muhammad and in the Islamic studies department, or on Shinto culture in the Japanese studies department. What nonsense. She has called I think Bhagwan Shri Ram a pig. She has said Mahabharata is a misogyny manual, and the Bhagavad Gita justifies mass genocide. हैं? भाई हमने भी पढ़ी है. हाँ, मिसोजिनी के पॉइंट्स मैं समझ सकता हूँ, रिलीजियस टेक्स्ट में मिसोजिनी है, दैट आई एम अंडरस्टैंडिंग, बट मास जेनोसाइड.
But the point is, will she say the same thing about other religious texts? That they are the manual of misogyny?
वो तो बोलेंगे कि वो तो फर्स्ट फेमिनिस्ट है भाई. And again, to bring it to the analogy that in India you have a debate, not that I'm supporting it. जिसको जो पहनना है पढ़ो. सब लोग ऐसे सीना ठोक के आएंगे. अरे टोन जीन्स के ऊपर कमेंट कर दिया, टोन जीन्स के ऊपर. और भाई क्लॉथ बैग में लोगों को डार्थ वेडर बना के घूम रहे हो, उस पर तो कुछ नहीं बोलते. ये डिस्कोर्स है आपका कि बुर्का इज अमेजिंग, टोन जीन्स पे क्यों बोला भाई? ये तो आपका डिस्कोर्स है. दैट शोस दैट हाउ मच ऑफ द टर्फ is in their hands, that they have said burqa is a symbol of women empowerment. Yes, I have heard left-wing woke people saying that.
I know.
And it all is interconnected. This entire mindset is interconnected. And unfortunately for the Hindu, they have snatched our basic right to even say what is our identity away from us. And I don't know what to do about it anymore.
Interesting. So I think we have a long battle ahead of us, because even today we have not learned any lesson that social sciences is very important. Even today the people have hatred towards the social sciences. You see that on social media, you see that in the comments, all educated people say it's a waste of time to study social sciences and all those things. So the problem starts when we even do not understand the battlefield we are in, and we refuse to acknowledge that there is an issue which needs to be addressed. So I hope that going forward something will be done about it. But Kushal, what is the last thing you'd like to say, in the sense that what is the way forward?
Well, the way forward is read more social science material, read more religious texts, be assertive, not bigoted, be confident, not overconfident, and peddle booga booga, which a lot of Hindus do. Question more, preach less, and understand the language of academia. See, the one thing I did was I understood the language of academia. I might swear on Twitter, but no, I can hold my own in front of an academy because I spent hours and hours of my life and read books. I can hold my own. I know their terms. I know what they mean when they use certain terminologies. And also support the right people. If you're going to support garbage, you're going to get garbage. So right now, the larger, I'm sorry to say this, the larger Hindu discourse is garbage in, garbage out. You have to sift through the garbage and then say, okay, this guy is good. This person has this to offer over here. We need to get more rigor. So my closing comment will be, learn to respect social sciences. Respect them. They are needed. A lot of things are needed. This hatred of social sciences in Hindu society is beyond me.
Same here, Kushal. But thank you for your time, and thank you for your wonderful insights as always. And thank you, audience, for listening to us. Please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Now I have 20,000 subscribers, thanks to you, but please make it 40,000 as soon as possible. So hoping to see you soon again. Thank you.